Packages of gum have started adding a thumb grip in order to not give you an extra piece. Here's another example. Toblerone began adding extra space in between their chocolate mountains.
What you're looking at here is the aftermath of a drumstick ice cream cone.
Fast food has cut back so much. I can eat an entire McDonald's cheeseburger in one bite if I really wanted to.
Have you guys ever noticed that at the grocery store now, some of the products that you've been seeing or even buying are starting to get smaller, while at the same time, the prices are starting to increase? That's called shrinkflation, and that's a new trend going around right now. It's actually going viral on TikTok and online, and I just have to show you some of the stuff right now. So basically, while everybody is struggling, dealing with inflation, dealing with the housing market, dealing with rent, everything going crazy, corporate greed has taken over once again here, and big Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies are shrinking the size of their packaging while also at the same time increasing the price, and they're not telling you. Check this out.
These are some of the craziest examples of shrinkflation. Ice cream bars not filling up the ice cream all the way. Midnight's putting way more space in between their chocolates. Girl Scout cookies gradually getting smaller over the years. Cadbury chocolate putting now bigger on their packaging, but it's actually the same exact size. Pringles chips are now getting smaller. The packaging makes it look like it's one big loaf, but it's actually two smaller pieces. Oreo reducing the amount of cream they put in their cookies.
So that's a thing too. It's not even like they're just, reducing the amount of stuff that they give you in the packaging. They're actually trying to change the packaging itself to deceive you. Literally, it is corporate deception. They are trying to trick you at the grocery store so that you don't realize. That's the only reason they're doing that. The only reason you would change the packaging to cover up a seam is to show you that no longer are they giving you the same amount. And they're trying to literally do it all right under your noses. And most of you guys probably don't even realize, but I get it. It's like, what can you do? If you're still buying these products, how do you avoid it? And I'll tell you guys how you can save money a little bit later on in today's episode, and what you can do to prevent yourself from falling from corporate greed traps like this.
Starts having a lot of extra space in their packaging that's just empty. Trader Joe's stopped filling up their sandwich cookies all the way. This unopened cheese stick looks like it was cut in half. Packages of gum have started adding a thumb grip in order to not give you an extra piece. Here's another example. Toblerone began adding extra space in between their chocolate mountains. Someone opened up their Lunchables, and this was how much cheese was in there. Ramen noodles slightly decreasing the size of their flavor packets. Super glue bottles have an empty shell that takes up nearly half of the amount. Crayola has began selling half-size color pencils instead of the full one. The packaging on the Colgate toothpaste is extremely misleading. The dent size for Gatorade bottles has gotten way bigger. Klondike bars have literally no chocolate on the outer shell. Doritos bags used to be 9.75 ounces, now they're 9.25 ounces. Burger King used to have a deal where you get 10 chicken nuggets for $4.49, but now it's 8 chicken nuggets.
These mattress lentils.
All right, so before I get into this video, I don't know if you guys watched my last episode where we talked about the cost of living in 2024 and how it's gotten absolutely impossible to live and everything that's going on right now and the amount of corporate greed. Well, it's not just in shrinkflation and shrinking the sizes of the packaging and stuff. They're also increasing the prices of things tenfold, like not just 6, 7, 8% that everybody was talking about on the news. Some things are increasing 50%, 80%, 90%, and this guy has exposed all of it in this TikTok video.
Here, I used to buy them for $6.99. Now look, $15.99.
$6.99 to $15.99. What is that, 3 times the price?
These prices at Costco have gone absolutely insane. It's not worth buying half this stuff anymore.
Used to buy this exact same variety pack for $11.99. Now, $20.
Jeez.
So 2 years ago, we were able to buy this 3-pack. It's 3 44-ounce ketchups. We were able to buy them for $7. That was always the price, never more than that. Even a couple times they're on sale for like $4.99. We used to be able to get these Dino Nuggets for less than $10 for the same exact box right here. It's absolutely insane.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. I don't know if you guys have picked up on a trend, but I'm noticing some similarities between the shrinkflation as well as the products that are increasing in price as well. I'm noticing a lot of it is all processed foods too, and typically processed foods that are readily made that you could just pop in the microwave always have markups on them. And there's a reason for that. You are going to spend more money on these marked up items here. And that's not a good way to, prevent that. If you're trying to save money, which we're all trying to do, I can no longer afford to eat out anymore because of how expensive food has gotten out to eat. Not only that, the tipping culture is absolutely wild now too, which we covered in the last episode here. But the only thing you could do now is eat at home. And even that has gotten incredibly difficult, especially for people that don't know any better, because the normal products they might have been buying are now screwing them over at the same time. So it's like, how do you win? Well, unless there's something else that you guys have been able to figure out and you can let me know, the only other thing I have known is you can only really buy these products if A, there's a coupon, that's the first thing, and B, all the processed foods seem to be shrinking. So I'd probably stay around the perimeter of the grocery store instead of going into the processed food aisle, and maybe try to buy more whole foods. I don't know how, I'm sure they're going to come up with it, but the whole goal between Whole Foods was to get your food as big as possible. Like, obviously people like to buy the apples that look the biggest. That's the whole point of genetically modified food, is to make strawberries bigger than other things. But processed foods seem to be going the other way. They're making them as small as they can. So until they start making, your apples, oranges, vegetables, fruits, and maybe even your meat, unless they're shrinking the packaging on the meat, is to eat that stuff, because besides maybe the price increasing, at least you're getting the same volume of food, unlike before, because they're just taking full advantage of you at this point.
I used to buy these all the time. They were less than $10. I think even cheaper when they were on sale. Not anymore though.
Boy.
These goldfish, last time I checked, were $9.29. Now we buy them in a smaller box because $12.59, it's just not worth it anymore.
So what I have here is some comments from the previous episode where we dabbled with the inflation on prices of food just a little bit here, and he picked up on the shrinkflation that's going on too. So if you guys want to get featured in the next episode, then definitely make sure to drop a comment and let me know what you think about what's going on with this. You can see here he goes, the worst part is that not only is the price that's increasing, but at the same time, some articles are giving out less product, as in shrinkflation is happening here. And that's crazy to me. And then there's another comment that somebody left, and I want to show you right here. You can see here, another well done video. At the end of the day, anyone can make it and live comfortably if they practice some basic financial principles, which makes sense. And I understand that. Yes, it will take time to build up some wealth, but it can be done. And I agree with that. But you also have to take into the fact that while all this is going on, everybody's trying to learn, and you're trying to, no longer are you going to eat out. If I'm suffering and I have debt and stuff like that, and I'm trying to not eat out, and I'm now eating groceries, at the same time I'm doing all of this, trying to get ahead, companies are stiffing me out of my products without me even knowing. So my grocery bill, the cost for groceries, has increased tremendously. And at the same time, I get less products, so I have to spend more. So it's like people that aren't already ahead, it's twice or even 3 times as hard for those people to get ahead than people that are already there, that don't really get affected by the small movements and the unjust ways of corporate greed when they adjust for these prices here. So I understand it, I get it, but most people, like they say, live day to day and don't set financial goals. Big mistake. And it's true, but at the same time, if you're already in a position where you have debt, it's going to be that much harder to climb out of it here, which is a topic for a new discussion when we talk about the credit card crisis that's going on right now. But, I appreciate all the comments that you guys drop. It's just interesting. It's hard to get ahead when you're not already ahead.
Shrinkflation's not being talked about enough. We've gotten to a point where not only things are like quadruple the price, but they're also giving us half the product. They try to hide it in the most
Check that out. Look at the bottom divot on the Skippy. Like, who's turning over their peanut butter? You know what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing, except they have now shrunk the indent on the bottom of the plastic packaging so that you don't see it. This is not advertised. They didn't say, oh, we're charging less, we're offering smaller amounts. No, they're literally doing it right underneath your noses, and they don't tell you about
ways, but you can always tell. Even if they're just skimming a little bit off the top, they'll do anything to make that extra little bit of profit. Even fast food has cut back so much, I can eat an entire McDonald's cheeseburger in one bite if if I really wanted to. Not just the size or the quantity of things, it's also the quality. Restaurants, grocery stores, fast food places, it doesn't matter. Things taste different to me. Vegetables, meat.
And he's got a point there. Things taste different to me. And that's another topic that I want to talk about with you guys today. So we have, multiple things that we've covered in this episode so far. We have, inflation, and we have corporate greed where they jack the prices up of the products. Then we have that businesses are shrinking the size of the packaging while trying to keep the packaging the same by just putting less in it. But at the same time, too, the third way is you can only shrink something so small. Something can only get so tiny before people catch on and then they can't buy it. So the third alternative that some of you guys might not be aware of is ingredients. A lot of products now are changing up their formulas, and he's noticing it. He's saying he's tasting food, and food is tasting differently than it used to. Why is that? Well, guess what? They're changing the recipes and the ingredients to cheaper products. Instead of just putting sugar, which might be cheaper or cheap, they're putting vegetable oil or, other alternatives of sweeteners in products or other oils in products. And they don't tell you that they changed the recipe. I've noticed that too with certain ice creams that would taste really good. And then all of a sudden I was like, why does this taste so different? They've switched the recipe. I compared the ingredients to what it used to be, and they switch it on you, and they don't even tell you.
Fruit, everything. There's something about it that just tastes off.
Yep.
Like chicken and beef. It's just disrespectful at this point. They really think we're stupid. And the thing is, I don't know if it's ever going to go back to normal. The fact that they've made record profits fooling people like this and we still buy it because we have to kind of tells me that this is never going to change. If it always comes down to quality or people over price and money being made, they're always going to choose the money being made. I swear, there was a time where you could go to the store or go to McDonald's with like $3 and feed yourself for at least a day.
Now listen to this. Food and Water Watch put out an article that said from 2020 to 2024, the cost to feed a family of 4 grew 2.5 times more than the rate of inflation. Meanwhile, corporate profits rose 5 times faster than inflation from 2020 to 2022, some to record highs. So what can you do to stay ahead? Here are some tips that I found that can help you stay afloat when you're in the grocery store. First off, try to buy things with coupons or things that are on sale. Second, create a budget, as this will help you keep your grocery spending under control. Third is to buy in bulk if you can. And lastly, definitely look into food savings apps like Too Good To Go. They're fairly new, but it's a great way to save money and also help out the environment. So give it a try. Implementing these methods can help you save a lot, and I mean a lot of money when it comes to groceries and food shopping.
The very popular
So this is exactly what I was talking about before, how companies have gotten so desperate to mess with people that they are changing the ingredients and the formulas of products you know and love without telling you and alerting you here. And check out this one. They got caught and it went viral, and it's so funny to me.
And drumstick is currently going viral for a very interesting reason.
What you're looking at here is the aftermath of a drumstick ice cream cone that has been sitting out for 22 hours now.
So no longer is it considered ice cream. It is they don't advertise it as an ice cream cone because there's no more cream in it. They took out the actual cream, the dairy in it, and now it's called like a dairy product or a dairy-free or a frozen dessert. It is not called an ice cream cone because there's no longer cream in it. Cream is more expensive than putting vegetable oil in your ice cream cone, and all that stuff, the glycerin and the junk they throw into it, doesn't melt, and it's fully being exposed here, and it also is being proven because it tastes weird as well.
As you just saw in the video I just
Look
played,
at that
guy
thing.
decided to do a test, and that test was to leave a drumstick ice cream cone out for 24 hours. He left it out for around 22 hours actually, but the ice cream cone did not melt at all, and now people all across the entire world are doing that. This has become a trend, and everyone is realizing that the drumstick ice creams do not melt at all. This has caused a lot of people all across the entire world to be very concerned and cautious before buying drumstick ice creams now, because they feel like, if this is actually ice cream, it would melt. So a lot of people feel like there's just very bad chemicals in these ice creams, and now people are starting to not buy them anymore because of this.
Guess what? Think about it. You can't necessarily do that again with whole foods. So if you're trying to save your money, you got to stick with the original, the whole foods. You can't really change the ingredients on lettuce. It's only lettuce. Although I'm sure at this point they're changing it. I've seen people now creating lettuce and things like that out of, what is it? Plastic. Yeah, you heard me right. So at this point, how do you win at this point here? I've seen plastic, and then we talked about genetically modified food getting bigger, which is insane as well.
This is definitely very interesting, that's for sure. And I'm really curious to know your thoughts about all this. And are you going to stop buying these drumstick ice creams because they seemingly do not melt?
And here's my favorite, Gatorade. It kind of grew a waistline here. It used to be 32 ounces. Now it's 28 ounces, but it is the same height. You can see it there.
Yeah, she's right. That Gatorade bottle's looking good. You're like, damn.
Oh boy.
It's rare to actually see one of these while it's happening. You can see.
This girl caught it right in plain sight. You know, people are starting to wake up now. You can't trick us all.
99 for 40 tall kitchen bags, 40 count, and you see 45.
Yep.
45. Of course, these are pushed to the back.
Same thing, same bag. Everything's
those
good.
are gone.
They just changed it a little bit.
There's
now
only
it says
these ones
40.
left. The 40 count. And there's actually no price that says 45 count anymore. You know what else they don't have? 120 count. There's nothing here. There's 110 count because that's the size they're moving to.
Wow, they're getting rid of the amount of bags they give you, but the price is still the same.
110 count. 110 count. And then there's the 68 count. There's no tag anymore for the 120 count.
So guys, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys like this content. If you do, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you find videos or crazy topics, make sure to DM me on Instagram. Send me those videos because I want to put them here. And also, if you guys want to join in, definitely make sure to check out my last episode where we talked about the cost of living and how it's gotten absolutely crazy. I'll put that video right over here. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.